Hollywood, the land of bright lights and darker secrets. Behind those charming smiles and designer suits lie scandals that could make even the Oscars blush. From legends like Morgan Freeman to moguls like Diddy fame couldn't save them from being exposed. Buckle up, because this list will make you gasp, cringe, and maybe even laugh, and you'll never look at these stars the same way again. Number 1. Drew Drexel, from Ninja Warrior to National Nightmare. Once hailed as the ultimate American ninja warrior, Drew Drexel was the guy everyone rooted for. Athletic, charming, the human version of a protein shake. But in 2020, fans' jaws hit the floor when the obstacle he couldn't conquer wasn't a warped wall, it was the law. Drexel was arrested for allegedly having an inappropriate relationship with a minor, and suddenly his victory laps turned into mugshots. The charges were grim, involving grooming manipulation and encounters that no one could chalk up to training sessions. The network behind American Ninja Warrior reacted faster than Drexel on a balance beam, scrubbing every clip of him from their platforms and pretending he never existed. One minute he was the face of fitness. The next, he was the cautionary tale parents tell their kids when they ask for gymnastics lessons. Drexel denied the allegations, claiming innocence and vowing to fight in court. But the internet was already in full cancel mode. Memes popped up calling him American Creeper Warrior, and fans who once cheered his name couldn't even say it out loud without cringing. If found guilty, Drexel faces up to 20 years behind bars, which ironically might be the toughest obstacle course of his life. Number 2. Jeremy Piven, from Entourage legend to scandal headline. Once the smooth-talking Hollywood agent in Entourage, Jeremy Piven played the guy who could get away with anything until life decided to call cut. In 2017, the actor found himself at the center of a storm bigger than any season finale. Reality star Ariane Bellamar accused him of groping her both on set and at a Hollywood party, and that was just the opening scene. Soon, more women came forward, each with stories that made his TV character look like a saint. Piven denied everything, of course, because what else do Hollywood men do when the receipts start piling up? But while he was busy posting, I'd never statement studios were quietly hitting delete on his name. Shows dropped him faster than an agent drops a client after bad press. Fans couldn't believe it. The guy who made a living yelling, "Let's hug it out on TV," was now being accused of way too much unwanted hugging in real life. And though no formal charges stuck, the damage did. Piven's once golden reputation turned into a cautionary tale. In Hollywood, karma doesn't need a script, it just needs a hashtag. Number 3. Jenny McCarthy, the kiss that shocked the AMAs. It's 2012 at the American Music Awards. Cameras flashing, fans screaming. Justin Bieber, at the height of his fame, barely 18 and ready to claim another trophy. Then out of nowhere, Jenny McCarthy, model, comedian, and self-proclaimed funny girl, grabs the mic, announces his win, and proceeds to attack him with affection. She pulls him close, plants a forceful kiss on him, and lets her hands wander in ways that made the entire audience gasp. Bieber, caught between horror and confusion, froze on stage with the same face you'd make if your aunt kissed you on the lips at Thanksgiving. Later, when asked about the incident, he said plainly, "I felt violated." And who could blame him? Imagine going to accept an award and leaving with emotional trauma and lip gloss residue. But McCarthy didn't stop there. In interviews afterward, she doubled down, saying Bieber was so delicious, she just couldn't help herself. Yes, she actually said that out loud. If the roles were reversed, Twitter would have exploded and someone would be in court. Instead, Hollywood shrugged it off like an awkward punchline. Years later, that clip resurfaced, and fans were furious, calling it what it really was, assault on live TV disguised as a funny moment. One comment nailed it: if a 39-year-old man did that to an 18-year-old girl, he'd be in jail. Maybe next time Jenny should try comedy that doesn't involve committing crimes on camera. Number 4. Sean Diddy Combs, the fall of hip-hop's untouchable king. For decades, Sean Diddy Combs lived like the boss of every room he walked into: music. Mogul, party god, billionaire, playboy. But in 2023, his empire started shaking harder than a bad remix. It began when his ex, Cassie Ventura, dropped a lawsuit that read like a horror movie script: a decade of controlled drugs and abuse wrapped in designer clothes and luxury hotels. She claimed Diddy wasn't just her boyfriend, he was her captor in couture. The internet went wild. Suddenly, the man who once told us "can't stop, won't stop" was trending for all the wrong reasons. And just when people thought it couldn't get worse, more women came forward, each story darker than the last, filled with drugging, manipulation, and intimidation. Diddy denied everything, of course, calling the allegations sick lies. But Hollywood started backing away faster than a guest realizing they're at one of his infamous parties. The case with Cassie was quietly settled out of court, but the damage was done. Once hip-hop's untouchable king, Diddy now looks more like the villain in his own remix, proof that even in the music business, what goes around really does come back with receipts. Number 5. Kyle Massey, from Disney darling to digital disaster. Remember Kyle Massey, the fun, lovable kid from That's So Raven and Corey in the House? Well, turns out the house might need better internet filters, because in 2019, the former Disney star found himself in a very adult scandal. A girl and her mother accused Massey of sending explicit photos, videos, and messages, basically turning her phone into a crime scene. The alleged messages surfaced between December 2018 and January 2019, and fans were floored. How did the goofy kid from Disney end up starring in his own legal drama? Massey denied everything, claiming it was all a setup from someone out to ruin him. Which, let's be honest, is Hollywood's favorite defense line right after my account was hacked. His lawyers tried to paint the story as a misunderstanding, but the public wasn't buying it. Overnight, his image flipped from Disney sweetheart to don't let your kids near the Wi-Fi. The case dragged on, and while he hasn't been convicted, the damage to his reputation is undeniable. Once adored for his charm and humor, Kyle's story now feels like a tragic Disney reboot. No one asked for Corey in the courthouse. Number 6. Casey Affleck, the quiet Oscar winner with a loud scandal. Casey Affleck always seemed like the chill, artsy brother in Hollywood's most famous sibling duo, the guy who'd rather mumble in an indie movie than headline a blockbuster. But in 2010, his carefully quiet image got real noisy when two women from his mockumentary, I'm Still Here, filed lawsuits accusing him of harassment. Apparently, the behind-the-scenes drama was messier than the film itself. Producer Amanda White said Affleck made unwanted advances and retaliated when she refused, while cinematographer Magdalena Gorka claimed he crept into her bed uninvited. Casey denied everything, calling it all fabricated, and the cases were quietly settled out of court. Hollywood's favorite way of saying, let's pretend this never happened. Fast forward to 2016, and Affleck wins an Oscar for Manchester by the Sea. The internet collectively went, wait, didn't this guy? His awkward acceptance speech didn't help. He looked like a man who wanted to thank everyone and no one at the same time. Hollywood was split between applause and side-eye. Casey may have walked away with the trophy, but his reputation's still under review. Number 7. Danny Masterson, from sitcom star to serious sentence. Back in the early 2000s, Danny Masterson was the chill stoner everyone loved on that 70s show. Funny, sarcastic, and always rocking that curly hair, he was the guy you'd want to hang out with, until you read the headlines. In 2010, 3 women, all fellow Scientologists, accused him of assault, saying that behind the jokes and sunglasses was someone far darker. Suddenly, Hyde wasn't just a character name. It was his lifestyle. Netflix dropped him from the ranch faster than you can say laugh track, and the Church of Scientology got dragged into the mess for allegedly trying to cover it up. For years, Masterson denied everything, insisting it was all lies. But Hollywood had already moved on. No one was laughing anymore. Then came 2023 when the verdict hit harder than a 70s punchline: guilty on 2 counts, sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. Yep, the man who once ruled the basement is now facing decades behind bars. His fans were stunned. His co-stars stayed silent. And the internet summed it up: best guess, karma really does burn. From sitcom fame to cell block shame, that's one rerun no one asked for. Number 8. CeeLo Green, the wild tweet that ruined a career. Once the funky frontman of Gnarls Barkley and the voice behind the hit Forget You, CeeLo Green was living large, bold suits, bigger personality, and even bigger hits. But in 2012, his party life took a dark turn when a woman accused him of drugging her during a night out. She claimed she woke up with no memory of what happened, and suddenly CeeLo wasn't looking so smooth anymore. The story alone was bad, but what really torpedoed his career was his Twitter meltdown. Instead of staying quiet like every good lawyer would beg him to, CeeLo decided to clarify things online by tweeting, "It's not if the victim is unconscious." Yes, he actually wrote that. The internet collectively screamed, "Bro, delete your account," but the damage was instant and permanent. The backlash hit harder than one of his high notes. Fans turned their backs. His TV gigs disappeared, and his once golden image went down faster than his social media credibility. CeeLo eventually apologized, saying his words were taken out of context. But let's be real, there's no good context for that tweet. From chart topper to career dropper, CeeLo learned the hard way: you can't auto-tune your way out of a scandal. Number 9. Andy Dick Comedy's wild child who went way too far. If Hollywood had a mascot for chaos, it'd probably be Andy Dick. For years, he was the unpredictable funny man, the kind of guy who'd turn up to a party, make everyone laugh, and somehow set something on fire before leaving. But by 2018, the jokes stopped being funny. Andy found himself behind bars after being convicted of battery for allegedly groping an Uber driver. Not exactly the punchline he was going for. And it didn't stop there. His rap sheet grew faster than his list of canceled gigs, from inappropriate behavior on sets to another arrest in 2022 for allegedly groping a man. Suddenly, the name Andy Dick was showing up in headlines more often than on comedy lineups. Fans started calling him Hollywood's problem child, and honestly, that's putting it nicely. He blamed booze, bad luck, and misunderstandings, but the pattern was impossible to ignore. Once a quirky comic known for pushing boundaries, Andy became a walking example of what happens when you push too far, proving that sometimes the joke really is on you. Number 10. George Takei, the space legend caught in a real-life scandal. You know George Takei, the beloved Star Trek icon, the internet's favorite grandpa and the king of oh my. But in 2017, his reputation hit warp speed straight into scandal territory. A former model named Scott Brunton accused Takei of drugging and groping him back in the 1980s. Suddenly, Mr. Sulu's voyage to the stars turned into a trip through tabloid hyperspace. Fans were stunned. How could the charming activist and meme master be involved in something like this take? However, the composed captain denied everything, saying he didn't even remember Brunton. But the internet was already in meltdown mode, debating whether to cancel or defend their favorite sci-fi icon. Then came the twist. Brunton later admitted parts of his story might not have happened the way he remembered. By then, though, the damage was done. The headlines had already launched into orbit. Taki's legacy survived, but a little dented. It was a scandal straight out of a Star Trek episode. One moment, he's boldly going where no man has gone before, and the next, he's boldly trying to clear his name. Number 11. Bill Cosby, from America's dad to America's biggest disappointment. Once upon a time, Bill Cosby was the man everyone trusted, the pudding pop king, the sweater-wearing sitcom dad who could do no wrong. But behind that fatherly smile was a story darker than a double espresso. Starting in the mid-2010s, dozens of women came forward accusing Cosby of drugging, and them with allegations stretching all the way back to the 1960s. Suddenly, America's dad looked a lot more like America's predator. The irony, this was the same guy who used to lecture young comedians about morals and respect. Turns out, while he was teaching the world life lessons, he was allegedly living a double life straight out of a crime docuseries. The accusations kept piling up like bad reruns, and eventually, the legend of clean comedy became the face of one of Hollywood's ugliest scandals. Cosby was convicted and sent to prison only to have his sentence overturned on a legal technicality, because in Hollywood, the plot twists never end. Now, whenever people hear The Cosby Show, they don't think of family values anymore. Just one massive, shocking fall from grace. America didn't cancel him. He canceled himself. Number 12, James Franco, the actor who turned method into mayhem. Once the golden boy of indie film and Hollywood's favorite intellectual heartthrob, James Franco was the guy who could do it all, act, direct, teach, and somehow still look half asleep doing it. But in 2018, his artsy genius image went up in flames when 5 women accused him of using his acting school Studio 4 as a front for something a lot less educational. Apparently, Franco's version of hands-on learning was a little too hands-on. His former students claimed he pressured them into explicit scenes under the guise of artistic exploration. One ex even called him a predator, hiding behind creativity. Franco denied it all, but in 2022 he admitted he had slept with students, insisting it was consensual, which, let's just say, didn't make it sound better. The scandal cost him roles faster than you can say disaster artist. His acting school shut down, he settled a lawsuit for $2.2 million, and Hollywood quietly ghosted him. Fans joked that Franco went from teaching how to make it in Hollywood to becoming the perfect case study in how to lose it all. Lesson learned: sometimes the only thing you should be directing is traffic. Number 13. Chris Noth, Mr. Big's reputation just got small. For years, Chris Noth was the ultimate TV heartthrob, suave, charming, and perfectly dressed as Mr. Big from Sex and the City. He was the man every fan loved, the dream guy who broke Carrie Bradshaw's heart, but still made audiences swoon. Then 2021 happened, and suddenly Mr. Big wasn't looking so big anymore. Multiple women came forward, accusing Noth of assault, painting a picture far darker than any Manhattan breakup. The accusations dated back to the early 2000s and hit like a cosmopolitan to the face. Noth denied everything, saying all encounters were consensual, but Hollywood reacted faster than Carrie buying shoes on sale. CBS fired him from The Equalizer. His talent agency dropped him, and that much-hyped Sex and the City reboot quietly killed his character off, literally. Fans were shocked. The same guy who once whispered sweet nothings was now whispering no comment to lawyers. His co-stars expressed heartbreak, social media lit up, and memes crowned him Mr. Nope. Overnight, Chris Noth went from city icon to cautionary tale, proving that in Hollywood, your reputation can vanish faster than a taxi in midtown traffic. Number 14. Kevin Spacey, from House of Cards to House of Consequences. Once one of Hollywood's most respected actors, Kevin Spacey was the king of cool, Oscar-winning razor sharp, and the face of Netflix's House of Cards. Then 2017 hit, and his empire crumbled faster than Frank Underwood pushing someone off a train. Actor Anthony Rapp came forward accusing Spacey of making a move on him when he was just 14. That revelation opened the floodgates, and soon a tidal wave of men accused Spacey of everything from harassment to assault. Hollywood acted faster than a Netflix binge. House of Cards erased him projects were canceled overnight, and even Christopher Plummer replaced him in an entire movie. Talk about a swift recast. Spacey tried to do damage control with a bizarre apology that also came out as gay in the same breath, which the internet unanimously labeled the worst timing in history. Since then, he's faced trials in both the US and UK, with mixed verdicts, but one clear outcome: his career is deader than his House of Cards. Character. Once a Hollywood power player, Spacey now serves as a cautionary tale. You can scheme your way to the top, but when karma calls, there's no script rewrite to save you. Number 15. T.J. Miller, from comedy golden boy to Hollywood's problem child. Once hailed as one of comedy's brightest weirdos, T.J. Miller was the loud, chaotic energy behind Silicon Valley and Deadpool. He was the guy who could make you laugh just by existing, until the laughter stopped in 2017. When a former college acquaintance accused him of violent assault from their days at George Washington University. The details were dark, the tone far from comedic, and Hollywood suddenly realized maybe the crazy guy routine wasn't just an act. Miller fired back, calling his accuser jealous and vengeful, but that defense aged about as well as one of his stand-up specials. Then came reports from Silicon Valley co-star Alice Wetterland, who said working with him was a nightmare. Turns out the behind-the-scenes chaos matched his on-screen energy just without the punchlines. His career nosedived faster than one of his bad improv bits. Gigs dried up, Hollywood ghosted him, and the internet officially labeled him that guy from Deadpool we don't talk about. TJ still insists he's misunderstood. But at this point, the only thing people agree on is that he's proof comedy has limits, especially when no one's laughing anymore. Number 16. Michael Douglas, Hollywood's gentleman, faces an ugly rumor. For decades, Michael Douglas was the picture of old-school Hollywood charm, suave, talented, the kind of guy who could sell both a romance and a thriller. But in 2018, his spotless reputation took a nosedive when journalist Susan Braudy accused him of harassment from more than 30 years earlier. She claimed he made lewd comments, acted inappropriately in front of her, and then blacklisted her from Hollywood when she didn't play along. Suddenly, the man who gave us Basic Instinct was starring in a scandal no one saw coming. Douglas didn't wait for the headlines. He went on the offensive, publicly denying everything before the story even broke. He called the claims a complete lie, saying he'd never do something so vile. The move was bold, but also very Hollywood. Deny first, lawyer later. The allegations caused major buzz for a few weeks, but without hard evidence, the fire fizzled out. Still, the image of classy Michael Douglas took a hit. Fans joked that it was like watching Wall Street's Gordon Gekko try to defend his morals. Entertaining, but hard to believe. In the end, Douglas survived the scandal, but his lesson was clear. Not even Oscar winners are immune to Hollywood's rumor mill. Number 17. Richard Branson, the billionaire who couldn't fly above the rumors. Richard Branson, the thrill-seeking billionaire behind Virgin Group, has built his empire on adventure skydiving balloon flying island, owning basically being the James Bond of business. But in recent years, his name got tangled up in a scandal straight out of a conspiracy thriller. Virginia Giuffre, one of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers, claimed she was trafficked and forced into encounters with powerful men. And Branson's name somehow ended up on that list. Cue the collective internet gasp. The allegations sounded wild. A tropical island, secret flights, and billionaires behaving badly. But here's the twist. There's zero solid evidence linking Branson to any of it. He denied everything, calling the claims baseless and absurd, and honestly, he might be right. The guy spends more time in spacesuits than scandal suits. Still, the rumor was enough to make headlines, because, well, the words billionaire and Epstein in the same sentence are basically clickbait gold. No charges were filed, no proof was found, and Branson flew off, probably literally, while Twitter debated his innocence. Whether he's guilty or just guilty of being rich and eccentric, one thing's for sure, even billionaires can't escape planet scandal. Number 18. Charlie Sheen, winning not anymore. Once the highest-paid actor on TV and Hollywood's ultimate bad boy, Charlie Sheen was the poster child for chaos drugs, women tiger blood, and that infamous winning catchphrase. But behind the meme-worthy madness was a much darker story. In 2017, former child star Corey Feldman dropped a bombshell accusing Sheen of assaulting his late friend Corey Haim during the filming of Lucas back in 1986. It wasn't the kind of blast from the past fans were expecting. Sheen denied everything, calling the claims sick and twisted, but the damage was already done. Other women also came forward, accusing him of inappropriate behavior, adding fuel to the already burning fire that was his public image. Between the scandals, wild interviews, and that time he claimed to have Adonis DNA, even his most loyal fans were like, "Bro, are you okay?" Hollywood tried to forgive him, tried being the keyword, but the pattern of chaos never stopped. Once the king of sitcoms, Sheen's empire crumbled faster than his sobriety streak. Today, his winning slogan has become ironic proof that sometimes when you shout it loud enough, the universe claps back with a reality check. Number 19. John Travolta massage tables and movie meltdowns. For decades, John Travolta danced, sang, and charmed his way into Hollywood royalty. From Grease to Pulp Fiction, he was untouchable. But in 2012, the spotlight got a little too hot when multiple male massage therapists accused him of behaving, let's just say, not very Saturday Night Fever. Two separate lawsuits claimed he had gotten handsy during private sessions, and suddenly, the man known for his smooth moves had a reputation for all the wrong ones. Travolta denied everything, saying the stories were fiction, which, given his filmography, was a bold choice of word. Still, the lawsuits kept coming. Another masseur, a hotel employee, even a former cop claimed he'd crossed the line. It was like a bizarre sequel. No one asked for Pulp Fiction. The cases were eventually dismissed, but his public image took a serious massage of its own, and not the relaxing kind. Fans didn't know what to believe, but the internet never missed a beat, turning the scandal into endless memes. Through it all, Travolta stayed calm, smiling his signature Hollywood smile as if pretending none of it happened. Maybe he thought if he ignored it long enough, the headlines would just vanish into thin air. Number 20. Ben Affleck, from Batman to bad press. Ben Affleck has played many roles: superhero, Oscar winner, tabloid regular, and the internet's favorite meme. But in 2017, his reputation took a serious hit when old clips and accusations resurfaced, showing a darker side of Hollywood's brooding leading man. It started when actress Hilary Burton revealed that Affleck had groped her during a 2003 taping of TRL Uncensored. Ben quickly apologized, saying he'd acted inappropriately, which, let's be honest, is celebrity code for, "Yeah, I messed up. Please don't cancel me." But that wasn't the only story. Makeup artist Anna Marie Tendler also accused him of grabbing her at a Golden Globes party in 2014, and other women chimed in with similar stories. Even Rose McGowan called him out, saying he knew about Harvey Weinstein's behavior long before the scandal broke and did nothing. Affleck tried to do damage control, all while still playing Batman, which made the memes write themselves. Hollywood loves a redemption arc, but this one was messier than Justice League's plot. To his credit, Ben owned up to some mistakes, but the internet never forgets. Turns out even Batman can't escape the spotlight when he's the one caught in the dark.